This is the true story of James, the rejected guy who later shocked his environment. James had been with his girlfriend for 2 years when she suddenly announced that she was leaving him for a richer guy. James was devastated. He had always considered himself a good catch, with his intelligence and hardworking personality, but it seemed that in the end, money had won out over love. As James struggled to pick up the pieces of his broken heart, he also found himself rejected by society. People seemed to mock his shyness and avoid him, and James felt like he was all alone in the world. He withdrew into himself, feeling defeated and hopeless. James was approached by a wealthy woman who was looking for a new employee. She was impressed by James' intelligence and hardworking nature and offered him a job. James was hesitant at first, but he realized that this could be the opportunity he needed to turn his life around. As James settled into his new job, he found himself working closely with his female boss. She was a strong, successful woman, and James was impressed by her intelligence and drive. However, he soon realized that she had another motive for keeping him close: she had fallen in love with him. James was caught off guard by his boss's feelings, and he found himself avoiding her as much as he could. He didn't want to hurt her, but he also didn't know how to respond to her advances. He felt like he was in a difficult situation, torn between his loyalty to his boss and his own feelings. He gave his all to his work because he was driven to succeed. A few years later, he decided to start his own company, later got rich working for his boss and supervising his company, and became successful in his business. James had been working with his female boss for a few years when he began to realize that she had feelings for him. At first, he tried to ignore it, but he soon found that her persistent pursuit was starting to wear him down. Despite his best efforts to avoid her, she managed to get closer to him, showing him a different side of herself that he found appealing. Before he knew it, James found himself falling in love with his boss. She was smart, driven, and kind, and she made him feel appreciated and valued in a way that he never had before. As they spent more time together, James realized that he had never felt this way about anyone before. He was falling in love with her, and he didn't know what to do about it. His boss, meanwhile, was completely smitten with James. She loved his intelligence, his sense of humor, and the way he always made her feel. She was determined to make him fall in love with her, and she began to show him that she was the one for him. She took him on romantic dates, brought him gifts, and always made time for him, no matter how busy she was. As time goes on, James realized that he couldn't deny his feelings any longer. He loved his boss, and he wanted to be with her. He mustered up the courage to tell her how he felt, and to his relief, she felt the same way. They got married soon after, and they lived happily ever after. Their marriage was a true testament to the power of love. James had been heartbroken and rejected by society, but his female boss had come into his life and shown him what it meant to be loved. They were each other's best friends and partners in life, and they were grateful for every moment they had together. In the end, James realized that sometimes, the hardest times in life can lead to the greatest successes. He had overcome heartbreak, rejection, and the advances of a boss, and he had come out on top. He was proud of who he had become and grateful for the life he had built for himself. Please subscribe to Heed Life.